It starts with a spreadsheet. Not a dramatic one, not the kind you see in movies where red lines zigzag across screens and man in dark rooms watch satellite feeds. Just a spreadsheet. Columns, rows, numbers that need to move from one place to another without leaving a trail that anyone with a badge and a warrant can follow. You are 26 years old. You are very good with numbers. Someone noticed. The first job is small. $340,000. 3 wallets. 5 hops. You sit in a rented apartment in Lisbon with a laptop and a cup of coffee that cost €1.80, and you move money the way a magician moves a coin, not making it disappear, just making it hard to follow. By the time the $340,000 arrives at its destination, it is clean. It passed through a shell company in the Seychelles, a crypto exchange in Malta that asks very few questions, a DeFi protocol that doesn't ask any, a legitimate import business in Dubai that exists on paper and in a bank account and nowhere else. Your fee is $34,000, 10%. You made $34,000 in 4 days. For a moment, you just sit there. Then you close the laptop. Then you open it again. You are 26 years old and you have just made $34,000 in 4 days, and the feeling is not guilt, not yet. The feeling is the one that arrives when you realize you are very good at something the world is not supposed to know you are good at. The second job is $1.2 million. You don't ask where it came from. This is the first rule. The one that wasn't written down anywhere but arrived fully formed the moment you understood what the work was. You don't ask where it came from. You don't ask what it bought. You don't ask whose hands it passed through before it landed in a wallet address sent to you on an encrypted message that disappeared 30 seconds after you read it. You just move it. The $1.2 million becomes 800,000 euros, becomes 14,000 in some token, becomes $1.19 million in a Cayman account belonging to a holding company, belonging to another holding company, belonging to a man you have never met and will never meet. Your fee is $120,000. You buy a better laptop. You move to a better apartment. You tell people you do consulting. They nod. Nobody asks what kind. By year 2, you are handling $4 million a month, not in one transaction, never in one transaction. One transaction is a target. One transaction is the thing that shows up in a financial intelligence report as an anomaly, a spike, a dot on a map that an analyst in some government building circles in red and sends upstairs. You do it in pieces. Small, irregular, deliberately imperfect pieces that look like the noise of a real economy. A $47,000 transfer here, a $12,300 exchange there, an $89,000 payment to a vendor that invoices for logistics services it never actually provides. You are good at this because you understand something most people don't. The financial system is not designed to catch money, it is designed to move it. The catching is an afterthought, a layer applied on top of a system whose primary purpose is flow, and anything designed for flow can be navigated by someone who understands the current. You understand the current. Your annual earnings are north of $1.4 million. You do not celebrate this. Celebrating is visible. Visible is dangerous. You drive the same car. You eat at the same restaurants. You are, to all external appearances, a moderately successful consultant who works from home and travels occasionally for business. The business is laundering $4 million a month for people whose names you don't know, whose faces you've never seen, and whose cargo you have made a deliberate and ongoing choice to not think about. Then comes the morning with the annotation. A wallet in your chain tagged with a single word by an anonymous user months ago. The word, trafficking. You close the laptop. You don't open it again for 3 days. On the 4th day, you open it, read the next job, close it, sit in the quiet for a long time. The no questions arrangement has a question in it now, and the question is changing what every previous transaction was. What you don't know on the fourth day is that the question arrived 18 months too late. What you don't know is that a financial crimes analyst at the Department of Justice named Rebecca Chen has been building a case file with your name at the top of it for 14 of those 18 months. What you don't know is that the Malta Exchange asked very few questions but kept very detailed records. What you don't know is that the Cayman Holding Company's registered agent, facing charges of his own, provided a full cooperation agreement 7 months ago, including transaction logs, wallet addresses, and an organizational chart with your operational alias circled in red. What you don't know is that the alias was connected to your real identity through a single mistake. A VPN dropout in Lisbon on a Tuesday afternoon in month 4, when you briefly used your actual IP address to check an email you should have checked on a different device. One IP address, 4 seconds of exposure, 14 months of consequences. On the morning of the 5th day, you are still at your laptop when you hear it. Not sirens. That is the thing that surprises you most afterwards. Not sirens, not shouting, not the dramatic percussion of a raid you imagined in the abstract, the way everyone imagines abstract consequences. Just a knock. 3 times. Measured. Professional. The kind of knock that has been practiced. You look at the door. You look at the laptop. You look at the $3.8 million job still technically in progress on one of the screens. You close the laptop. You open the door. There are 4 of them, 2 in suits, 2 in jackets with letters on them that you read and read again as if the second reading will change what the letters say. They do not change. The one in front, a woman, mid-40s, the specific composure of someone who has done this many times and feels nothing performative about it, holds up a document. "We have a warrant," she says, "for the device, the accounts, and for you." She says it the way Tariq said, "We own J.P. Morgan." Casual, like mentioning the weather, like a fact that has been true for a long time and is only now being said out loud. You step back from the door. They come in. The 2 in jackets go directly to the laptop, directly, not searching, not scanning the room, directly, as if they have a diagram of where it sits and how it's configured and what is on the screen. They do have a diagram. They have 14 months of diagrams. Later, in a room with a table and 2 chairs and a fluorescent light that buzzes at a frequency designed to make thinking difficult, Rebecca Chen sits across from you. She places a folder on the table. She opens it. Inside the folder is your life. Not a metaphor. Your life. The Lisbon apartment, the Malta Exchange records, the Cayman Holding Company structure rendered as a flowchart with your wallet addresses highlighted in yellow, transaction logs going back 22 months, the IP address, the 4 seconds. She taps the flowchart once with one finger. "You built this," she says, not accusatory, observational, the way a doctor reads a chart. You look at the flowchart. You look at it the way you looked at the annotation on the blockchain. The same stillness, the same arithmetic of consequence arriving after the decision that produced it. "The trafficking wallet," you say, because it is the only thing you want to say, the only fact in the room that you need to know was seen and recorded and understood. Rebecca Chen nods once. "Among others," she says. "Among others." 2 words, the 2 most expensive words you have ever heard. The deal your lawyer eventually negotiates takes 4 months to finalize. Full cooperation, complete transaction records, every wallet address, every alias, every chain of movement you constructed across 22 months of $4 million at 10% of everything. In exchange, a reduced sentence. Not no sentence, reduced. The judge reads the charges at the hearing: money laundering, conspiracy, facilitation of criminal enterprise. The charges fill 2 pages. You sit very still while she reads them. You are good at sitting very still. You learned it in the apartments and the transactions and the no questions years. It turns out stillness is the one skill that transfers. The spreadsheet that started it was simple: columns, rows, numbers moving from one place to another. What you understood and what you learned too late to matter is that numbers always leave a trail. Not because the system is designed to catch them, because everything that moves leaves evidence of having moved. The current you understood so well, the record of the current you never thought about at all.